Hi, I'm Uzoma and welcome to episode 5 of tomorrow, and we are going to be talking about the perfect place with Paul Onwuanibe of the Great Landmark. Paul, welcome to tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. So, we're going to talk about, the perfect place, like the perfect place to be, and we always like to talk about before, and before is like yesterday. So we're going to talk about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Yesterday, and I remember, and I'm talking about yesterday from my own perspective of Nigeria, like when I was young and.
The good old days.
The good old days.
The good old days.
The interesting and good old days. My God, the good old days, where I could just ride my chopper everywhere, like without even thinking. There was no mobile phone everywhere. My parents had gone to work and everything like that. But one thing about, in reflection, when I think about Nigeria, is that it was kind of organized. So I think of even the 70s then, or the late 70s, 77, and they were it was like, look, so you had Apapa amusement park. Then you had Badagry where you could go. You had Badagry, even through Lere, Ikeja. And then when you had Festac 77, right?
Yeah.
You had National Art Theatre in Ingos. So they kind of designed the places so you had to leave where you were to actually go to places of interest, right? So you couldn't. There was only one amusement park.
Yes.
There was one Festac. There was one. There was one
Ikoyi Club.
There's one Ikoyi Club, and there's one those places. So you had places that people could go to without actually having to cross the border, and they had a good time. it was like a treat. You just drive down there, and we didn't know any better. For you, and so I have many memories of that, and I don't think that. So now everything. So for me today, everything is just in one place, and we're not proactively thinking of how to put, or I don't know,
how to spread things around.
How to spread things around. We don't have logjam. I'm just thinking about Dirty December. We'll get back to that later. So how was your yesterday compared to before we get to today? Into today.
Really interesting because when we were growing up, we looked at it from two different perspectives. You remember, I lived in London. I was schooling in Nigeria. You lived in Nigeria. You were schooling in London, right? So Badagry, I was schooling at Ijaniki, and I remember. When you said Badagry, I thought there was a shiver through my spine. It was a lava market to drink.
I'm talking about government college Owerri.
True. I learned how to ride a motorbike in Alaba Market, right? And we used to walk to House Theatre for the first 77 Just so much has changed. When I look back and I think, and I was saying earlier, if you look at the rate of change from those days in the mid 70s, mid to late 70s, what's that? 40? Geez, we're old. 40 odd years ago, right? And if you think, what could happen in the next 40 years? But the most interesting part, I think, has been sort of the last 10 years and what the next 10 years brings, because the pace of change in the last 10 years has been incredible. In those days, hardly anything changed.
Yes.
Hardly anything. Same neighbors.
Everything was the same.
Everything was the same. I remember. And the short breaks, I used to come to your house in Ilupeju. I'll leave, I'd hop on a few buses here and then, walk long distances, walk down to Maryland Club. Gosh, I can't even imagine looking at,
of course,
at today.
Yeah. And what is, I'm coming to today, and when I think about today, and there are many factors before, and I remember when the first time I left Nigeria, I think I was 10 years old, and went to the UK, and went to those destinations Buckingham Palace, changing of the guards, Madame Tussauds, and all that, and just seeing completely different and different things. And you always wanted to go out. In fact, there were more people wanting to go out than wanting to come in.
Yes.
And today, I'm just going to use Dirty December as one of those focal points. But now, a lot of people are thinking of coming back for Christmas.
Yes.
And so we've also had, we've had Fashion Week, we've had Art X, and now we have Dirty December. So you have this period where this is the destination, this is the place, this is the place to be, and what's driving it? And look, so like, and what the many things driving it, and like, I mean, we have to talk about even landmark. So when we talk about what landmark is also part of that, where for you, landmark was always like, work, live, and play. A destination. So like, I mean, tell us a bit about that. I mean, like, what drove that idea to take such a gamble as far as I'm concerned? Because I remember because I live next to you.
We're the first people.
We're first people there. The original inhabitants. And I remember when you said, like, this place is going to be built in 12 months. Anyway, I want to bet.
But it was about 13 months. And we still hosted the event.
Yeah, we still hosted. I want to bet because it was
tough times.
It was tough time. So like, and I remember that was coming to that location, I was thinking I could be anywhere in the world. And to achieve that, and it was like that whole. So what was the vision? I don't want to like.
I
have my own ideas, but I'm like.
Well, you saw it unfold. So I mean, you know the history now. I was doing these serviced offices in different parts of Africa, and just occurred to me in most major cities, maybe apart from South Africa, that they all had the same sort of issues in Africa. People didn't want to be outside because of traffic. People were getting lazier. They wanted more efficiency, wanted to live and play in the same place. There were infrastructure issues, so power issues. So I thought, why don't we put everything in one place, right? And then bring all the people here. And that was the original vision. And I remember, you may recall when I first came, I got into a chopper and was going around Lagos thinking, where do we do this thing, right? And there was this space in between the bustling business district of Victoria Island, this growing Lekki corridor, and I thought, what's that? And there was Morocco at the time, and I remember coming and you were completely empty, complete swamps. There was a village of 50,000 people living out of but houses, and I think it was the same time you were just about building. You were moving from Okotiebo. And you were in the middle of nowhere. So I remember you very happy when I said,
entrepreneurs.
That's how, those are scary days. I remember calling the bank manager and saying, look, are you going to fund this? And we're driving down. We got to where Zenith Bank is now. And the bank manager refused to go any further. Said it's too far. Right?
Too far, anyway.
Yeah, it was at that time. They said it was too far. Didn't even know. I said, no, it's just further down the road because the Gali on Orinde didn't exist. Obviously, was a corporation road. We built it. So the idea was literally to put everything in one place and then put everything, my mom used to say, put everything in one basket and watch that basket carefully, right? So that was the whole idea behind live, work, and play. And the biggest challenge, as you can imagine, was how do you bring people here? Because everybody thought it was too far, the roads were too bad, people were worried about security. So it was bit by bit. I think it was your mom that came up with the idea. So let's, about the convention center first. Because Nigerians love parties, right?
Exactly, yes,
so
that's true.
Let's do something that brings a lot of people.
I built that whole tent, remember?
So that was, so when PGD was having his birthday, so that was the first thing that came. And then,
So, I mean, like now, I think, so, but so today, so we have this, like, okay, people are now, like, okay, people are coming because of many things. They're coming because of, okay, the vibe. Definitely the vibe. There are more places to do, more places to go to. We have, and then I think there are more things that are actually, there's a lot that is happening here. For me, like, from your own perspective, look, there's a lot that's happening here. Like, why suddenly does everybody want to come to Nigeria? Like, really, when you think about it, apart from, okay, there are different places, there's more spaces. You have, like, for example, DJ OB, and you have, so, like, I would say there's music, there's music, there's food, but, what has changed? Like, there was always music, right? There were always DJs, right? But so what is it that is now making, in your opinion, making Nigeria electric? Is it our children?
It's a generation.
Is it our children? Is it our children that are seeing it from a different perspective? Because we didn't see it from that perspective.
No, but we didn't imagine it from that perspective, but why was that? I mean, what would you say the difference between the late 70s, the late 90s, and the now? What's the major difference? The major difference.
I think there's more anarchy now. I mean,
yes, but why exactly? But why?
I mean, like today we hear about insecurity.
Yes.
There's insecurity.
Yes.
There's these things that happen in Nigeria.
So-
but there is life, there is energy, there is hope, there's opportunity.
Yes, because if you don't know tomorrow, that's what you want. You need to have energy. You need to live today properly.
Exactly.
And that
So
drives a lot.
yeah, because I think look, my daughter is saying like, Daddy, look, university is finished on 13th of December. By the 15th, I'm in Lagos.
back.
I'm in Lagos, and you're coming. I'm in Lagos, but so there must be something that they see now that we saw before, but like, and maybe the world is changing in a way outside that does not reflect what is happening in Nigeria.
So you hit the nail on the head. So let me tell you what I think. Just seeing two sides, because my children do the same thing. They come every Christmas, they've been doing it for 8 years, and they book the tickets as they're leaving from the Christmas before. But so the big difference is people. There are a lot more people in the world, in the country, in the city now than there was before. And because there's a lot more people, there's a lot more competition for resources and competition for life, right? For space, for airwaves. And because there's a lot more competition, talent comes through.
Yeah.
So you see the food is better, the clothes are better, the music is better, the sports.
Is it better or is it different? No, because and I think
It's better, we're creating it now.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. So do you think, this is my view, I think that technology has also played a part. And when I say technology infused into communication, into like what people are seeing and what people are showing the world. And so there's that, and there's this generation of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out.
Yes.
So let's all dive in there, right? So somebody else says, I'm having a great time in Lagos. I'm having shit.
Let me see that.
But let me show you. But they're showing the best bits. So they're showing, and then I think it helps that you have all these music stars that are actually promoting Nigeria from their music. Wherever they are, it's like okay, I like this sound. Where are they coming from? Coming from Nigeria. I like this design. These people are wearing it's different. It's refreshing. It's new. Where is it coming from? Nigeria. And then you now see these posts as well that is also validating it, like this nightclubs, these landmark beaches, this these events that are happening, and then Nigeria I think has always been a cosmopolitan destination or place, and I say that because I think there are two places in the world where, for me personally, where you can eat anything that you want from the world.
Yes.
London and Lagos.
There's one more.
And there's one more. I don't know. But London, I mean,
London, Lagos, I hear you.
I think the third one is plastic. It might be a bit plasticky, but I know that in London, you can have the best Nigerian that you want outside Nigeria in London. Chinese, Indian, Italian, whatever. And the same is for Lagos. If I want to eat Italian food, I know where to go to. If I want to eat Chinese, in fact, I probably prefer the Chinese food here than in China.
Than in China.
So I think there's a lot of things that is just creating this perception that okay, this has to be a destination. This has to be a destination, and it's as far as I'm concerned, it's still not even organized as to how it can be.
No, it hasn't. Nobody's wrapped around it yet. But
that's what you're trying to do in different places.
But that's the beauty of it as well, because when things grow organically, they sort of take their own life. And these new set of people don't want to be controlled as much as we were controlled, right?
So curated.
They want adventure. Yes, absolutely. So I believe a number of things have happened at the same time. Obviously, the population is growing, and this whole competition thing, right? When you imagine our parents, when they finished university, they could pick their jobs. When we finished university, we had to apply for jobs, but it wasn't that tough, right? As long as you came out of university, you get a job.
Decent university, different.
Next generation, it's a little bit tougher, right? There's a lot more competition. The generation after, they better get their socks on, right? Because I tell you something, there'll be I think 1,000 people for every one job, right? Maybe now it's 100. In our time, it was probably 5, right? So people are being pushed to do things better and bigger. The second thing, as you said, is technology. So technology has allowed the world to be smaller. You can see things, you can achieve things faster. People are now a lot more impatient, and so technology has driven that. And because in this country we have, or in this region we have had so many challenges, technology is a good leapfrogger of challenges, right? So technology has developed basically faster. I mean, the banking system here is better than the banking system in London, right?
In Africa,
the mobile phone system in Africa is a lot more better. Is a lot better. I mean, the mobile phone system in America only just literally, they was using CDMA.
No, I mean, like,
right?
Lagos. I like to look at places from city perspective, not country.
Yeah,
because Lagos is a country
on its own,
compared to
its own life,
other places.
Yes.
And then what I can do in Lagos, especially Victoria Island, the big cities in Lagos, like I call them cities in Lagos.
Yeah.
You can do almost anywhere. And this is still not organized.
Yes, it's not organized.
It's not organized. It's just like organically. And so like, okay, how do we put a structure and framework in place to scale it and
explode?
And explode.
You know, so there are two things. So apart from technology and the number of people, so you can imagine. So growing up abroad, and you I know when you were in boarding school in Stoke, or was it Stoke or Bolton? It's Stoke.
Huh? There's no difference.
There's not much different. So you're in a place that's, yes, it's organized and stuff like that, but you're bored half of the time, right? And you're mixing with people that are not like you. They don't think like you. They don't talk like you. They don't have the same aspirations and dreams you have. And then you tend to think you need to do things twice as much, right? So you come into a country like this that's been developed now, even though it's not organized, and you think, I'm now rolling with people like me, that think like me. I don't stand out in the crowd. I can do what I like and not look odd, right? That in alone is a big push for people coming back, especially people who live or school abroad. And I think it's one of the things fueling it. The second thing is what has happened here, that because of that competition, our creative sector has grown in bundles and we've exported it. So the food is better, the clothes are better, the music, the film, the sports, everything. And everybody's a curator, right?
Everybody. But isn't that the problem too?
Well, there's competition, so at least the best survive, right?
Yes.
So it is the problem.
In the end.
Yeah. So there is a play out there you see, the problem Africa has, I think, is that the cities are growing too fast, too quickly, and the bedroom cities or the secondary cities are not growing as fast.
Yeah.
I was reading somewhere that 7 of the most populous cities in the world, 7 of the 10 most populous cities in the world will be in Africa within the next 30 years.
I agree. So today, talking about today, and talking about destinations and perfect places, right? So, like, the perfect place is an idea.
Yes.
And so, if people talked about where they go to, where would I want to go on holiday? Yes. Apart from, let's remove Dirty December, right?
Yes.
So you hear South Africa, you hear
Nairobi,
you might hear somewhere Morocco, Egypt. But for me, those are, and you get some. So
you won't hear Ibadan.
You hear Ibadan. You won't hear many other places. You hear Jos, which is
lovely,
full, fantastic. The Yankari game reserve. But I forgot even.
Yes,
when we were young, my dad used to take us to Jos for summer. The summer holiday. You know when people ask me, so what are you doing this summer?
So we're going to Yankari.
We're going to Yankari. We're going to Jos. And Jos is just beautiful, like Hilton. I remember the Hilton Top Hotel.
My youth call there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was absolutely beautiful.
The Hilltop Hotel. I've got news for you.
Exactly, and the scenes were actually great. And so that's like, so when I think of perfect places, right? The perfect place is one, visual, what you see, right? What you feel and the energy. And like, I'm sorry, I don't know any race or any group of people like Nigerians who are completely defy all kinds of challenges and opportunities and wake up in the morning and keep smiling. Tomorrow is a better day.
Yeah.
So and I think that's and so like when I even think of even that Dirty December, like today, like, okay, why are people coming here too? And I think when many people talk to me about, or when they came to Nigeria, they talk about the people. Oh, the people are great. The people are welcoming. The people are accommodating. Because I think naturally we've always been I can't remember the word again. a welcoming city.
Yes, yes.
And where that.
We're social.
You're a white man. Okay, what's the big deal? You come on, eat. Come on, join us. Come on,
7 foot, come and eat.
Come on, eat.
Your female, come and eat. Your male, come
whatever.
and eat.
Exactly.
20 years old, come and eat.
So like it's like just join the party. And so I think that's one of those things that ingredients. I think everything we've talked about is like, okay, today we have all these ingredients and of food that is semi-cooked and like, it's tasting nice, but it could be so much better.
But you don't want to spoil it with too much organization yet.
Okay,
you have to.
But that organization, so like it's a balance.
It's a balance.
So I think it's a balance because it's like you want to help it grow, but you don't want to manage the growth.
No, exactly.
Yeah, you want to help it grow organically, and so you want to put some guardrails that balances growth and management, because management is not good.
Yes.
Management is not good.
But there's stories. I mean, Singapore is managed, but it's lovely.
But boring.
But so you have to make your own fun. You have to decide what you want to do.
So Singapore, you go there first time, after 3 days, okay.
Yeah, what next, huh?
It's very clean. Yeah, everything is just curated.
Everything is curated.
Everything is very nice. Yes. Which is, I think, is what like Dubai is trying to prevent.
Yes.
They're trying to prevent
it. They almost went the wrong way, by the way. I was about to say that Dubai is a hybrid. And then there's completely chaos, the DRC, Lagos, it's absolute chaos, it's energy, but that's what the city is talking about. I don't know, have you read Paul Graham's book? It says, what's the title of this book? Every city whispers a message, right? Yeah. And he went and talked about different cities. So think about it yourself, because you've been to all these places. You go to New York, what do you feel? You feel it's all about money, it's about power, it's about success, right? So the billionaires are admired. These same billionaires, they go to California, and the only people interested in billionaires in California are real estate agents, right? They want to know, are you Sergey Brin or are you Larry Page? They want to know. They want to meet people who control people, right? So do you own Google? You go to Boston. What does it whisper to you? What does that city whisper? Education. They say the quality of eavesdropping in Boston is so high. If you listen to what people are saying, they're talking about real things, educational, building new things, and energy and ideas. You go to Paris. What does it tell you? It tells you fashion. It whispers the message of fashion, right? And I think in Africa, our cities are now beginning to evolve. They're now whispering messages. Now, what are
the messages?
So this is the issue.
Are they positive or are they negative? Are they bringing people? Are they scaring people?
So this is the problem. So every city should have a single message, right? Paris has a single message. Even Singapore, that's boring, has a single message. Boston has a single message. So a city like Lagos needs a single message. So someone has to guide that message, right? In a city, you're living in a story, right? So a city is a story. We're living in it, and the citizens are writing that story, right? But someone has to basically put that story in a box.
But Paul,
so Lagos whispers energy. You said that 100 times. Energy. But it also whispers chaos.
Yeah, chaos. But chaos is also born out of energy now. Excess energy.
Yes, absolutely.
But look. And I like your slogan, which I think is perfectly encapsulates what a perfect place should be, right? And what are the 3 metrics? How I live, how I work, how I play, right? And so when I even think of, if I take UK, I'm very fond of the UK. So living in the UK, playing in the UK, nice. Work in the UK, so it's just very average, but it's like comfortable, right? It's comfortable.
And that's the message in the UK. You know what they say? If you're tired of London, you're tired of life.
Yes, exactly.
Because London has everything life has.
So I think of, like coming to today is about the opportunity. Today is about Nigeria, Lagos. Nigeria, and let's start with the biggest city. So I don't call it Nigeria. Lagos is representing Nigeria. Has become a destination for a particular time of the year.
Yes, and a particular set of people in that time of the year.
Yes. So it's about a destination, right? And so that's play, right?
Yes.
Living.
Yes.
Working.
Yes.
For tomorrow, how do we make it's the perfect place, right? From a living, working, and extended playing every time part of the year, because there are countries in the world where you want to, I have 5 days holiday, let me just jump and visit there.
Yes.
Nobody's going to say, okay, today, anyway, I'm just going to pop on the plane and go to Lagos.
Because you spend one of the days in the airport.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So for me, there are many. Look, I think every country has problems, and every country has priorities.
Yes.
But I want to make Lagos a play destination, easily all year round.
Yeah.
What are 2 things that you want to
if I wave my magic wand?
If you wave a magic wand, work and play. What would that be?
The first thing I'll do with the airport. You have to deal with the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to bring people here.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I thought about. No matter how big, no matter what it is, or how small your country is, the airport has to be.
And it tells you, I go to cities for even work, let alone play. The airport is bad, I don't go again.
Let me tell you what, I thought, the first time I went to India, and India has 10 times more people than
Yes.
So I landed in Mumbai. And so in Lagos, you land about in the evening, which is also scary when you land in the country in the evening, especially your first time. So in Lagos, you land at 6. In Mumbai, I land at 11 p.m. Right? This is 1 hour before midnight. And then when I walked out of the airport, I now understood how people feel when they walk out of Lagos airport. Only there was 10 times more people. I was shit scared. I walked back into the airport to catch my breath. Because when you see so many people, just waiting for people, right? I'm thinking, okay, the guy that's supposed to pick me up, where is he?
How do you even? It's frightening.
That one is okay, the next time I'm coming there, in fact, next time I went to India, I landed in Bangalore,
which is very nice.
It's like flying to Abuja.
Yes,
completely
it's very nice. It's a different place. Although I was in Delhi and Mumbai less than 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, and it's changed to an extent. But what people do, right, is when it looks disorganized, it's frightening to new people coming. So you have to create organization. You get to New York, there are people, right, but it's organized. You're not afraid. You come out, it has all the signs. It has, the buses are meant to be here, the taxis are here, the people are here, the guys who are picking.
Whether you're living, working, and playing, airport needs to be fixed.
It needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be welcoming.
It needs to be welcoming, exactly.
It needs to be welcoming.
Yeah, you go to Singapore, you go to those great people who want to bring you in. I remember Singapore just taking this guy, unless you're bringing drugs. If you're drug free, they welcome you. They welcome. In fact, they even Kigali was also another experience. Small country, a lot of people coming in, but it's just that whole airport management. So I agree with you.
That's without a shadow of it. Listen, so I'm slightly torn between the next 2, right? So the one thing you would want if you want to work somewhere with someone.
And I was going to say something else. And this is where technology helps. So, and I think, no matter what I say about it, what I like about the UK? Everything works.
Yes. Full stop.
That is the best place to live.
Yes.
The easier it is for you to leave the country, the more you want to come back to that country.
Yes.
There's some countries in the world that I've gone to, had a great time. Okay, time to leave now. Before you leave that country, check. In fact, it is harder to leave
the country than to enter. You can nobody talk to you. Just walk out of the country.
Just go. When you're coming back, we'll catch you.
Nobody talks to you. It's an amazing place. And even when in Europe, I remember a quick story. My wife had a Nigerian passport and went to France, but she had this right over both things. Went to Paris, and this was very early in our marriage. And so you just walk out of the UK. So we walk out of the UK, obviously no stamps and stuff. We get to Paris. When we're coming back, so in those days, the UK border was in Paris. Yes? Right. So we're now coming back, and then the guy in front of us had literally checked his passport into his bag by mistake and checked it in, right? So he gets to the checkpoint, the UK this border, and he looks at his and he looks at his and he says, "Oh gosh, I checked my passport in." And the guy says, "Do you have anything else on you?" He looks and says, I have a business card. So he didn't have ID on him. So he showed the guy a business card and stuff and said, "Oh God." Listen. So my wife and I pull up, right? And she brings out her green passport. And the guy is like microscope. I said, "What?" So as the guy said, well, the guy just left. He didn't even have a passport. I mean, at least this is a passport. He said, "Yeah, but what country is this? Where is it from?" So it's amazing. I mean,
Yeah, and you know the thing about it, look, we have the wherewithal to do that easily, even from a biometric perspective, because everything that you want to do. I mean, today we're opening bank accounts for people are registering through. I mean, like, we have one of the most advanced identification systems, although that we have not identity system, although we have not scaled it, made it accessible to everyone. You have your BVN, you have your name that has the biometric, and that can be leverage, and then even your passport. Our passports are actually biometric.
Yes.
By nature. So, like, if you're coming back into your country, what's the problem? Right. Unless you're a known criminal, and it should be easy to identify because you're already on the list as well.
And it should be digital. The days of carrying paper around should have gone. You're right. There quite a few things are much easier to do here to make this place listen. But I would say I'll settle on the second thing. You said two things, right? The second thing I will say is the perception of safety, right? And I mean that both in a substantial way
of course.
as well. So, if you're coming to work here, you expect that if I sign a contract and I do something, I'm protected, I'm safe, right? If I'm living here, I don't want to be attacked. And if I'm playing here and I break my leg, I want to feel I'm safe. Someone's going to take me to hospital. The hospital's going to treat me properly, and
I like what I really like what you say. The perception of safety.
It's a perception,
because there's no country in the world where you don't see dangerous activities.
I feel safer.
We used to go to
was more dangerous than anywhere else.
But somehow they managed to just manage it.
It's a perception.
Yeah, it's a perception. Even
it's about storytelling.
You go to some places in New York, you're on your own.
No, absolutely. No, it's storytelling. It's storytelling, and that's what Peter Paul Graham's book was all about. You see, it's not about safety, and safety is a perception, right? It's how the story is told, but both the inhabitants and the people outside. So, look, you and I live in Lagos. I feel safer in Lagos in the streets of Lagos than I do on the streets of London.
Of course,
full stop.
Yeah, today, but the perception, but people are still going there, and no matter where you are, there's some places, whether you're tourist or an individual, you won't go to, and if you're going to go there, you're going there with protection, and then you have the necessary guidance. So that's whole perception thing, and I think even that whole communication helps people. Welcome to Lagos, XYZ. If you're going to this place, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. Don't give them that. Now right? Go there with a local guy or something.
And the way a city makes you feel safe, the first thing you look out for where you feel a thing is safe, because you ask yourself, if you go to a new country you've never been before and you can tell that this street is safe and this street is not safe, what is it? Right?
Yes, exactly.
That's the thing you have to sort.
You know that. Look, when I even think about it, there's some Oyibo people, like people come non-Nigerian, who have been to places that I have not been, and they've gone there and had a great time, they had an experience, and they went because for them and it's when the one with the local guide. So Nigeria, so like places in Nigeria that even I don't go to because I have this perceived fear. They don't have that perception, and so like they're safe, they're welcome, and they come back with, I like taking pictures. They come back with photographs. I think, how come this is the guy that is taking these pictures?
I'm showing you.
I'm showing you. Instead of me going there because I'm afraid. With me, he has gone there. But like I have friends who are expatriates who have gone to places, and I just think, wow, I need to actually do that, and that's that is what actually makes this place even a destination. Because if people are coming to go and see these places, you that live here has not seen it.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
When I was 15. When I was going to university, at University of Nigeria, I remember I used to meet a friend of mine. I had friends in Maiduguri and Sokoto. So I meet a friend of mine at the foot of the Niger Bridge. He was coming from Benin. I was coming from Enugu. We agree a time to meet at the foot of the Niger Bridge by telex in those days. We take a train to Ido, and from there we go to Kafanchan. From Kafanchan, then we go to Maiduguri. And we used to do that at night, day and stuff, because the perception is that it was safe.
I used to even fly. My parents used to just put me on a plane and you put me on a Nigeria Airways flight from Lagos Airport to Kaduna. And this was in the 80s. And I was by myself. I was 10, 11 years old. And my guardian would pick me up at Kaduna Airport and pick me up. And there was no mobile phone there. There was no mobile phone. It was landline. And they had the safety that the whole infrastructure would look after. Would look after that. And I think that whole perception was there.
But believe me, Uzoma, people are still doing that today because they perceive it safe. The problem is that we have moved and we don't think it's safe. And this is the point you made about the Igbo guy going somewhere that you wouldn't have gone. And and when I talk about it, so that story has to be told by the indigenous of the city.
Yes.
By the government and by the people outside
that come and get that experience
and get that experience. Yes,
and we must use that to also make it better.
But what are the things that we have to do to make that story get told more? And that's the key.
So for me, the when we talk about tomorrow, I say, okay, how do we want? So because you design tomorrow today.
Yes.
And so one thing I think about. So I think about, okay, people want to come to Nigeria. Okay, so let me talk about the Nigerians and our children that are coming back for Christmas, right? They're coming back with us in December. And so that's the play, right?
Yes.
Now, but I think one thing that we have both benefited from is working in different places in the world and meeting different people.
Yes.
And we're bringing that knowledge and customizing it to here, right?
Yes.
So that we can now bring a semblance of that. So that fusion of cultures and things.
Yes.
Not necessarily copy and paste.
Yeah, it's you have to adapt it.
Adapt, copy, and adapt and customize to your own field. So, and that's why I go back to the tomorrow. And let me just say, Nigeria is going to the destination, the place, right? Which is what you have been doing for the last 20 years, making Nigeria a destination, a place where you can live, work, and play.
Yes.
It's like. And I think of the next generation, right?
Yes.
How do they make? How is Nigeria that place for them to work? And we talked about it. Listen, it must be free flowing. You must be able to go in and out. You must be able to go in and out freely. I think that security that security, but living and working. So now, living and working, right? So there's a lot to do there.
Yes, I mean, some of the fundamentals have to be strengthened. So first, when you come to,
one of the things too is that, well, unlike us, our generation, our generation was an acquisition generation.
Yeah.
We want to buy.
Yes.
The next generation, they want to rent.
Yes.
They don't want to buy a car. They want to own a car. They don't own a house. Your children are still living in your house, or you're buying your houses for them.
Yes.
Right? So but how do we create that tomorrow by making that environment a place where, I'm going to live in Nigeria because, it's easier for me to live in Nigeria than to live, because in the end, people live where it's most functional. And
absolutely. So everybody has to do their work.
Yes.
The roads have to be cleaner, right? The place has to be beautiful. You see, this perception issue is many things. It's not just people telling the stories, it's what you see and feel and smell, right? So, that whole idea, you come out, you see thousands of people, you go back into the airport, because they're not organized. So the perception is bad. If those guys were organized, the perception changes completely, irrespective of the infrastructure around. You come out, you see nice plants, flowers, clean roads, you feel safe on the road, street lights, stuff, right? You don't see them, you're concerned, right? You get stopped by a policeman, he's shaking you down, you feel very bad. Yes, you feel unsafe, right? You see a policeman, stops, papers, waves you on, you feel safe.
And I think Lagos, I think for me, and that's why this is why I think that perception of safety and that show of strength. So the UK is a great example. I like the fact that cameras are everywhere. So people know there are cameras everywhere, the corners.
We're being watched.
They're being watched. And you're being watched not actively, but inactively. When something happens, let me see that camera. And I think those are kind of something that we do so that even the gatekeepers, right, know that they're also being watched. Because I know, like my father said once to me, rules are not there to keep bad people away, but to prevent the good people, right, from doing bad things in their moments of weakness. And so those are the kind of things. Those are the kind of things that infrastructure, or should I say guardrails that we need to build. But finally, we can be talking for a long time, but for me, and I like that theme. I keep going back to it. Live, work, and play. Right. So for me, the perfect place, like my vision when I think of Nigeria as a perfect place is, and I don't know about yours, is somebody, because the world has changed, even from a definition of work.
Yes.
Somebody working, saying, you know what? I know a great place I can play. I can live life to the fullest. I can live, not exist. The difference.
There's a big difference.
I can live and I can play, and it's going to be Lagos. Why? Because I'm just going to live in this place where the music, the design, the food is great, right? So I'm going to work remotely. So I have a job. So yes, I can do my work I come from London, but I'm going to move to Lagos, and I can live and I can work, and then all the different events, the Dirty December, the XYZ. So I think that is what if you ask me, if I was to design that perfect place for Nigeria, that feeling to get somebody say, you know what, I'm living in Nigeria. Yes. Because I'm moving to Nigeria because that's the place where I want to live, work, and play.
Yes. So it comes to that. So it's like, what does the country whisper? What message does the city whisper? I think a lot of people want to be here. Like, look, when our children come back, my children come with their friends. And the first time they came was one or two people. The last time they came, my son had 11 friends with him. Half of them have never been to Nigeria before. Half of that were not even of African descent. But that's that message, when they go back, depending on the time that they had, is what they will transport. One of the things I learned in my early years coming back into Nigeria was, Igbos, they never invest where they can't live. Right? And they can't live where they can't go on holiday. Right? So if you want investors and you want people to come and live, work, and play here, right? You've got to first of all make sure when they come on holiday they have a nice time.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And that's the start.
Which is what we do. Which is what you do. Like, I remember when you bring your friends up from abroad, right? You make sure you curate the experience. So when they go back, they had a great time. Somebody will just say, where? In Lagos? Because you curated
you curated it.
But it has to be at scale.
Yes. But you have to that's the magic that has to happen. Everybody has to do it. Everybody has to speak the same language. People have to know that this city whispers this, and everybody has to do it.
We have the ingredient. Nigerian people are actually fun people. Like you go somewhere and like you look unlike
friendly.
In fact, friendly is the word. There are many places you go in the world and like, you just think,
sit on the London tube, right? At 7 a.m. or during rush hour.
Exactly.
You even pick up a paper and read yourself because you don't want to be eyeballing the guy next to you. Nigeria is a very friendly place. You can't go anywhere that people don't talk to you, right? So strange. So it's a nice place to play in, and we've got to figure out how we transcribe that to work. So my thing about the whole Dirty December thing is just it's an amazing thing, but we have to tell the story about it. And
but it's also it's a great stepping stone.
It's a good stepping stone.
For us to build that,
but we have to control that and not let people hijack it.
Exactly.
Right. So the one thing you don't want is that you don't want the police on the streets just stopping these young people and hassling them.
I don't think. I think yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah? You don't want that.
You don't want that. Yeah. You don't want them having bad experiences and being mugged in places when they go out. Right. But they're getting wiser and stuff. Yeah. And then you want to make digital transactions easier.
I believe that. I think that the reason why even this year is anticipate to be better because I think they kind of did a good job last year.
It was decent.
Because last year was unexpected. It wasn't expected to be like that. Even I thought that
it filled out that much.
I thought that last December was going to be quiet, and suddenly you just seen all these activities and like you're thinking through like God knows what's going to happen this year. But I think that those things I would hope
it's sorted out. But those things are important. The quality of accommodation. A lot of people had great experiences, but many people had bad experiences. So they booked Airbnbs. They got there. It wasn't quite.
I hear that a lot of people are also now beginning to pull themselves out of their homes so that they can generate.
They can generate revenue.
They can generate. I'm making it because I think it's beginning to lift because you can't just do it anyhow. You have to do it if you want people to come and give you good ratings, because all these things are with ratings. It's kind of uplifting the standards.
You have to clean the compound. You have to clean the place. You have to put things there that make people comfortable.
Exactly, and you have to be connected. You have to be connected.
Yeah. So you see something. If that becomes infectious, right, and we leapfrog some of our challenges with technology, right? It's bit by bit it grows and it spreads, and before you know it, this becomes a destination that you can live, work, and play, not just in isolated places, but in broad regions. Because think about it. Even in London, that's a lovely city. It's not everywhere you want to live.
No.
Yes, it's not everywhere you want to work.
Exactly.
And there are many places you will go and play in, right?
Exactly.
But it's just that there are more places that you're happy to be in than you're unhappy to be in. And that's where we need to get in Lagos, because once you make that transition, I think the city then whispers a single message rather than multiple messages. Yeah.
Paul, thank you for coming on tomorrow. Perfect place to live, work, and play.
Thank you very much. Good fun.